Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed the MACAE Spring Institute so far, and the beat just keeps going on. Welcome to the Workforce Development networking session. My name is Heather Rabideau. I'm kind of the host / moderator for this session, but I'm also kind of helping out with the session today. So I hope everybody had a good St. Patrick's Day and are ready to get back at it this morning. Today's session will be a little bit more of that beat goes on type of feeling, because it's a different session. We're not going to sit in one group setting the whole time. We're going to break out and do some breakout sessions together. But before we get started, just a few housekeeping items to keep in mind. Remember, if you need information about MACAE, you can always visit our website for updates and information, or you can join our monthly check-ins. In addition, the recording from this session and any of the sessions that we have will be made available to you along with the PowerPoint presentations and any information that's shared, so you don't need to worry about that. Finally, don't forget to check your email for that sketchy link at the end of today. Remember, you want to wait till the very end of the conference before you submit that link, and you'll just submit it one time. And last but definitely not least, we encourage you to have your cameras on the best you can if you are able to. We understand that there's other things going on, but especially in a session like this where we're going to break out and do some networking, it'll be way more effective if we can, see your beautiful faces and actually be able to interact with you. So that being said, I'd like to again welcome you to our Workforce Development Networking session. Today we're being hosted by the Workforce Development Committee. So if you're on the Workforce Development Committee, you want to just go ahead and say a quick hello. So we have Karen, Lisa, Gigi, Danielle, and Pam with us, and myself as well today for this. Just before we dive in and get started, I want to go through just a little bit about kind of what our committee is all about. So as many of you are aware, we have different committees that we break out into. Oftentimes after our MACAE board meetings, we hold committee meetings. And the Workforce Committee, we are really working together with a vision to prepare our educators, researchers, and policy makers to understand the interconnection and interdisciplinary work that education and workforce has. So really our group is all about those connections, which is kind of nice that we're doing this networking where we're making connections. And it's really just about thinking about the work that we do in our programs and thinking about it more big picture and how it fits into the scheme of everything else that's going on, whether it be K-12, whether it be workforce with industry, et cetera. So we do right now have some reps from a variety of backgrounds, like including obviously adult community and alternative ed, but we have Michigan Works representatives. We have in the past had representatives that were working on parts of those special programming grants, like from the ISD. I'm from K-12. And, our goal is to have some business and industry reps as well, just to really make sure that we're kind of not looking at our work in silos and seeing how it's all connected. So that being said, we try to accomplish this goal by networking, building partnerships, creating and providing professional development, curriculum, instruction in a variety of formats to meet the diverse needs of professionals in our field. And again, our group does meet every month after the MACAE board meeting. So real quickly, before we jump into our breakout rooms, we're going to each have our board or our team members introduce themselves and talk a little bit about what their breakout session will talk about. So Danielle, you want to take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Heather. My name is Danielle Barrett. I'm from Troy Continuing Education, and today we're going to revisit the topic of applicant tracking systems. If you attended our session that I had in the fall, we're going to touch on that again and focus on why we should write a resume through that artificial intelligence lens to meet the employer's needs as we help our adult population transition to the workforce.
Thanks, Danielle.
Yeah.
Pam, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Pam Belliver. I am actually at Adult Ed and I'm the career coordinator in Ferndale. And I used to be more heavily involved in WIOA as the director of a Michigan Works office. So.
Thank you, Pam. Karen, you're next.
Good morning. My name is Karen Govan. I'm Director of Workforce Development here at Southwest Economic Solutions in Detroit. And we have a WIOA Title II program, as well as job training. And I also oversee a American Job Center, a Michigan Works agency.
Thanks, Karen. As I already mentioned, my name is Heather Robidoux. I do work at the Hillsdale County ISD now. I serve in a career coach capacity. In the past, though, I had worked with Michigan Works and the adult ed program through Michigan Works Southeast. Gigi?
Good morning. I'm Gigi Salka. I am with Zaman International. We are a nonprofit located in Inkster, right outside of Detroit. And we're going to be talking about IET and ILCE. We have 2 training programs on site in addition to our adult ed that we provide.
Thank you, Gigi. And Lisa?
I'm Lisa Smith. I'm the Talent Community Development Manager for Kalamazoo RESA, and we also hold Michigan Works WIOA Youth Services programs. My position is one where I work with employers to develop programs with in partnership with different adult eds and alternative eds to get youth and adults ready for apprenticeship programs.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for the quick introductions. So that's our team that we have here today and kind of the topics that each of their breakout rooms will be covering. So the way that this networking session is going to work, we hope. So I will preface this by saying I haven't used the breakout feature a whole lot yet in Zoom, and I think I have it figured out, but you can't really practice it unless you have other people on the call. So we'll get through it together. But we're going to break you out into groups and you will go for 8 minutes into each of our different 4 groups. So we will have a room on applicant tracking systems and that will be with Danielle. We'll have a room on WIOA and Michigan Works. That will be with Pam and Karen. Then we'll have a room on IET, IELCE, that's with Gigi, and the pre-apprentice room will be with Lisa. And what we'll do is we'll put you in those rooms. You'll be in those rooms for about 8 minutes, and you will get a warning when there's 1 minute left. And at the end of the 8 minutes, the rooms will automatically close and you'll come back to our main group, okay? At that point, then we'll just try to rotate. That's where I'm anticipating there might be a little bit of a hiccup because there's not a feature on Zoom that will automatically rotate people through groups. So we'll work that out when we get back after that first session. But we want you to be able to meet in each of our 4 groups. It's pretty laid back. It's really meant to be like, here, I have some questions about IELCE. Maybe Gigi can answer them because she is our resident expert in that area. So it's pretty laid back, but we're hoping you'll get some good takeaways from each of your sessions. And then at the very end, we'll all come back together for a few minutes and just do kind of some share outs or some, what was the takeaway from your group? Because the first session to meet with Pam and talk about WIOA might not necessarily cover the exact same thing that the last group does because there's different people. So that's kind of how we're hoping this goes. So fingers crossed and we'll get started. Does that sound good? Okay, so let me see here. Start breakout rooms. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to open the rooms and I believe you'll automatically be assigned a room. I might have to move you, Lisa, because I didn't get you assigned before we got started. Oh, maybe I have to assign you. I set it up to assign you. So bear with me. Okay. We'll see you all in about 8 minutes. Okay, and it looks like, are you not assigned to a group here? I'm not sure who this is. I believe I have everybody assigned. Okay, so I do have you assigned, so you just have to accept to move on to the group.
Hey, Heather, you put me in the wrong room.
Oh, is this Pam? I'm sorry, Pam.
You put me in, not WIOA.
Yes, okay. Let me fix that for you.
Thanks.
There you go. You're going to the right one now.
So an applicant tracking system, many of you may not be aware what that means, and it's simply just a software program that employers use, specifically in the recruitment side, where I use that software to develop and execute a more efficient workflow. It's also going to help those organizations with their recruiting process. It's going to help them stay on brand. It's going to help them attract and engage a lot more candidates. So essentially, this software program that employers use for recruiting applicants and reviewing applicants for the hiring process is recruiting at scale. And so when we talk
piece. The other acronym is IET, Integrated Education Training. That is the training piece, which has to be integrated. What does that mean? That means that there has to be, it has to be the adult ed and the integrate in the training have to go alongside each other. They have to be happening at the same time. And the adult ed piece has to be contextualized to whatever the training is happening. So let's say the example people always use is like phlebotomy. So you're doing like the terminology that goes into phlebotomy. And that's how you're contextualizing and integrating those things. What other acronym is there? Is there another acronym that you had in mind that?
Oh, no, these were the two. I just,
Okay.
since we were supposed to be focusing on this.
Hi, ladies. I know that was kind of fast, wasn't it?
There's still people coming in from the other, there was
Yeah.
a few seconds left. So did they bump us right to the next session?
No, there's not a way to set that up. So we're going to get back. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reassign the groups, but let you just go to the, like, automatically put yourself in the next one just to make it easier. And maybe extend the time a little bit. Yeah, Jennifer, I know that was kind of fast. So I think we have enough time. We can extend the next couple. As folks get back into this room, we'll chat about that and then we'll move to the next. Well, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully that went fairly well, but I think it was probably too fast. How many of you felt like you didn't really get to talk about anything? Okay. So what we're going to do for the next one is I'm going to set them up again and I'll do 10 minutes instead. Do you think 10 minutes will be a little bit better? Okay. And because there's not that feature to automatically bump you to the next one, I think what we'll do is I'll set the rooms back up for 10 minutes apiece, and then you can click on which one you should go to next. And we'll just kind of go in order. So if you were at the first one, you'll go to the second one, et cetera. And even if you get out of order, as long as you visit each of them, I think that's the important piece. Okay. So let me get that going.
And for the individual who asked if I would put the link in the chat, like to give you that, I will do that. I will work on that.
Okay, so I'm going to let you choose so that you can go to the next one that you should be going to in just a second, but I have to reset them up. So let me type in the titles really quickly. See, it's always a learning curve with something having to do with technology. I will say I Googled like how to do this with rotations, and there are lots of people that said, please, can you make this a feature? But it's not currently a feature.
We tried to do that too, so I knew this was going to be kind of a glitchy thing. Yeah, yeah. But
All right, so I will allow you to choose your own room. And then I upped the time to 10 minutes. Okay, so let's give this a try this time. Let's see what happens. So go ahead and click. You should have an option to click into the room that you want to go to next. You might have to click down where it says breakout rooms on the bottom of your screen. And if anybody's having trouble, you can always just unmute and say, hey, this is Becky, please send me to this room, and I can do that as well.
Heather, I'm not sure if I'm in my room.
Yes, so let me assign you, Danielle, back to applicant tracking. There we go. All right, looks like everybody's getting into the rooms where they should be.
Heather, I'm having a hard time. It's Joy. I'm having a hard time. Can you put me in the pre-apprenticeship room, please?
Yes, ma'am. There you go. Becky, were you needing help?
Yes, please.
Where do you want it? Where would you like to go?
Application tracking is fine, either one.
Okay.
Or
Well, okay, there you go.
I have not been able to get in. This is Audrey Williams.
Okay,
clicking on join is not working. It doesn't matter which one.
Okay, let me see if I can force you in there. Which group were you trying to join?
It doesn't matter because we've got to do all three anyway.
Okay, which one did you start with though, Audrey?
The WIOA.
Okay, we'll stick you in we'll put you in IELCE. All right, Trina, Nancy, Ursula, did you need help getting into the right session?
Either group is fine.
Either group. Which one did you start with so I don't put you back in the same one?
IEC.
Okay, here you go, Trina.
If I was an applicant tracking, so whatever.
Okay, I will send you to WIOA.
Okay.
Nancy, where did you need to go? All right, I'm going to hang tight right here. So if you need to unmute and I can tell you, I can put you in whatever room you need, we can do that.
Like we have we have a meeting, or we have a apprenticeship in early childhood education. We have them in CNA, healthcare worker, phlebotomy, IT. I mean, it's really, the sky's the limit with that. And so what I do is when I talk to youth or adults in adult ed, I'll say, what's your interest? Let's do some career exploration and really figure out what your interests are. If the adult eds have already done that with them, then we use that information and we look at what's available, currently available apprenticeships. And if there aren't, we might connect with an employer and say, are you interested in doing an apprenticeship? Because it opens you up for all these funding opportunities as well. So that's definitely something that we can do, but it's wide open now. Why a pre-apprenticeship? Why have a program prior to the apprenticeship? Well, first of all, because it doesn't cost the employer anything. And so they're more likely to take a risk on somebody that maybe they'll bend that rule about having that GED. Maybe they can start while they're still in school. It just gives them more confidence that this person is ready for the apprenticeship. So a lot of apprenticeships also have an academic assessment that you have to take. I always get like a copy of it or get an example of it beforehand, and work with the GED instructors or ABE or our on-site teachers and say, this is what they're going to be tested on. Can you work with them and see where they are at that level and help bring them up to the level? Because nothing feels worse to a participant, whether it's a youth or adult, than sending them to an opportunity and they don't make it through because they didn't have the support. So those kind of services are available through Michigan Works and through your local school districts too, those connections with the employers. Michigan Works has a team that's called the Business Services Team or Business Services Professional, depending on your area. They have direct connections with the employers and can help you to make that connection to get that information. And some of them even have contextualized learning curriculum that you might be able to tap into. Otherwise, we have developed that on our own in conjunction with
Welcome back again, everybody. So thank you for joining us for this kind of fun networking / learning about the Workforce Committee session. So really quickly, before we wrap up, I want to be mindful of your time because I know there's only a short bit of time in between the next two sessions. But this session, the breakout groups were not recorded. So if we could just have a few people, if we want to share like what was one big takeaway, you can unmute and say it out loud or plop it in the chat there so that people that maybe didn't join the session have an idea of what we talked about and what kinds of things they can expect to be coming from the Workforce Committee.
I can jump in, Heather. In all my sessions, I was asked what the acronyms mean. So people, no, I mean, we take things for granted because you're so in this world, you assume everybody knows. So I think we still have to have some education on what the acronyms are.
Absolutely.
The state used to have an acronym book, part of the Mayor's Manual or the adult ed in the back. Huge list that they would update. And I'm sure it hasn't been touched since probably 2012.
Yep.
We do have someone that asked if Lisa would share her presentation, and so for sure. And then I was also going to mention, someone asked, I know Danielle was putting her email in a bunch of times. I'll plug in contact information to our PowerPoint before we share that as well. So you'll have that as long as that's good with all of our workforce committee members that were presenting today or kind of facilitating their session.
Right.
Other ideas, other takeaways?
For our session, and Pam's going to roll her eyes, but she has that career master plan. And so she's going to be sending it to me so I can share it. And I just think, what a great tool, because, you know, some of us just kind of create our own, or we use the ALP, but I just love the idea of, you know, this documentation. And we did talk about, you know, career assessment tools and one-stops, all the issues with, you know, working with Michigan Works.
I'm happy to share it. No judgment, everybody.
None.
Make it your own.
Anything else?
Our other thing was, how do you choose the training? You know, how do you find that something that your students are going to enjoy and want to participate in, and how do you get the buy-in from your teachers?
Well, I can't thank everyone enough and Heather for your expertise in this Zoom, but also for
Roll my eyes like
participating in
Pam.
cool networking. You know, we wanted to try something so we could touch on all the topics, but we also are going to meet as a workforce committee to kind of figure out, wait a minute, you know, what are some of the hot topics that maybe we should do some workshops, or we should, you know, continue on the conversation. So thank you so much for participating and sticking with us.
Yes, yes. And just, I put the screen back up there. Just if you're interested in joining our committee meeting, the next meeting will be on May 13th. So if you want to kind of join in and dive further into some of the information about what we spoke about today, please join us, or you can also visit us at MACAE. And as Karen said earlier, I think it's great because this kind of gave us some more ideas of how we could better serve our members in the field in our area as the workforce committee as well. So if there's nothing else, I just want to thank all of the workforce committee members for serving on kind of almost like the networking / panel today, and tell everybody thank you for joining us. Go ahead and have a quick break, and we'll see you in a few minutes for Patrick and Erica's session.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.